everyone, welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and update show. And today's show is mostly going to be discussing Senne Lammens. 1 minute I see someone call him Lammens, the next minute I see someone call him Lammens. I'm going to say Lammens, it sounds more right. And how he is getting on at Manchester United, how he's settling in, and players have spoken out about Lammens and how impressed they are with him. And debut time tomorrow, number 1 tomorrow. Manchester United plan to make Lammens number 1 keeper, and look, he's pretty much shocked a lot of people in training over the last few weeks. So lots of positive news. There's lots of rumours and speculation that it's time for Senne Lammens to be United number 1. He's had his settling in time. It's not like Bayendier is Alisson or Prime Buffon. Bayendier is Bayendier. Is he even better than Onana? Being realistic. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Manchester United versus Brentford game. Mazraoui out with an injury. Lissandro Martinez out with an injury. Casemiro is suspended for that game. And Amad Diallo is out. Thoughts and prayers of Amad Diallo. He's out grieving the loss of a family member. So Amad's had a tough week. Got a lot of stick from Man United fans for posting that picture of Garnacho. Deactivated socials. Lost a family member. So please, anybody watching, go give Amad some love. Do not be giving him any stick over that Garnacho post. It was, give Amad some love. It's been a tough week for him. So thoughts with Amad. Diego Leon, could he get his opportunity? We will talk about midfield, transfer news and more. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you are having a good week. It is a Friday. It's a Friday evening. I haven't done an evening live stream in a while, but I don't think I've done an evening live stream. I've maybe done 1 or 2 since the transfer window closes, but I do want to get back into maybe 5:30 live streams, 5:30 to 6, doing a live show, because at the moment it's about 12 to 12 that I go live, and then I do videos in the evening that are short. But I feel like the day after a game and the day before a game, maybe I should do more live streams, because we have a bit more to talk about when there's a game involved. But I do feel like at the moment, because we've only got 1 game a week, in the midweek, I'm like, what to talk about? So that's why there's just been less lives on the channel, because I just feel like there's not... because we like to talk about games and results and previews and post-match reactions during the week. But if we're going a week without a game, you get to Wednesday and you're like, everyone else is playing. So that's why there's been less lives, because a lot of people have been saying, Alice, you haven't been as live as much. And that's the main reason why, because if we had a game on the Tuesday, I'm live on the Wednesday and we talk about the game. I'm live on the Monday talking ahead of the game. So it's just one of those. But... for me, he's got to start. I don't know if you agree with me, you disagree. Let me know in the chat below. Would you start Lammens or would you start Bayendier? For me, Lammens has to start. I also think Maino has to go for Casemiro, not Agate. Now, I did a video earlier today and I said that Maino has to start with what Maino did versus City, what Maino's been doing in training. I said Maino has to start. And then people were going, I can't believe you want him to drop Bruno for Maino. No. I never said drop Bruno for Maino. I said Casemiro suspended, Maino has to start. Maino and Bruno together. And a lot of people are assuming when I'm saying Maino has to start, I'm calling for Bruno to be dropped. No, I love Bruno. Do I like Bruno in the deeper role? Not a lot, but Bruno is our best player. Without a doubt, he's a liability defensively, but he's just our best player and he makes us tick and we're a lot better with Bruno on the pitch. Not that I think he suits the 6 role that Amran's playing him in. When I'm saying start Maino, we have to start either Maino or Agate next to Bruno. Would you rather Agate play next to Bruno or would you rather Maino play next to Bruno? For me, if we're going to dominate the ball, have a lot of possession, I want someone on the ball that's not going to give it away, like Agate. So I said that Maino should start. Some people span that and saying, Maino's got to prove that he's better than Bruno. Maino played as a lone 6 when he first came in. When Maino first came into the team, he played as a lone 6. I think he's better as an 8. I don't think he's a holding player. I don't think Maino and Bruno in midfield 2 is the most balanced. But I don't think a Bruno Agate in midfield 2 is the most balanced either. And it's a question of Maino or Agate to go next to Bruno. They're the only 2 options. Second corner isn't ready. It's all Mounts. Now that's really not balanced. It's a question of Maino or Agate to go next to Bruno. I said it's got to be Maino. I said Amran's got to go Maino. A couple of people going, no, I'm not saying Maino's compete with Bruno. I'm just saying I think Maino should play next to Bruno. Personally, in my opinion, but people disagree with that. But I like Maino, and I think, if Agate and Dalot start, then that proves Amarin's most pragmatic coach in the league. I get Dalot and Agate starting if you're playing Liverpool, but when you're playing Brentford, I know it's away, I know we don't have a record versus Brentford away, but when you're playing Brentford, you would expect, not to have Agate and Dalot starting. You would want, obviously, Amad, but he's out, so I understand why Dalot would start. and Maino. I am going to talk about my predicted lineup for the game in a second, but I do want to get into the Senne Lammens news. But let me know who you'd start in goal, Lammens or Baindir. I'd start Lammens. I think most people agree with me on that. There is no sense that Lammens has done anything wrong at Manchester United. Sources say Senne Lammens has impressed in training and the overall view of him is a positive one. Lammens is described as having a calm presence, as being mature for his age, and is taking new surroundings in his stride. So there's been a few questions over why isn't Lammens starting? Lammens has come in. Why is Baindir starting? And it's not a case of there's no plans for Lammens to start. It's a case of he's young, he needs to settle in. It's just normal for Baindir to start the first couple of games. But once Lammens plays one game, there's the expectation that he will take over and be the first team keeper from there out. The problem is we would have been in the EF, we would have played on Tuesday or Wednesday night. Had we not got knocked out by Grimsby, we would have played a game against somebody on Tuesday, Wednesday night last week, and that would have been an opportunity for Lammens to have his debut in a less high-pressure game. Since Lammens has come in, we've only had 2 games, one against Chelsea, one against Manchester City. Ruben Amorim doesn't want to throw a young guy in that game. Brentford is the opportunity. I get why he didn't play versus City. I get why he didn't play versus Chelsea. I'd have thrown Lammens in, but he's young, he's learning, and look, this is the opportunity and this is the time for Ruben Amorim to throw Lammens in and give Lammens his debut. He's doing well in training. He's not doing anything wrong in training. He's impressed in training. He's calm. He's mature. They just wanted to be careful, make sure he's settled into Manchester life. This is the opportunity to play him. Now, what I think is really interesting and really telling is the way that the Manchester United players have spoken about Lammens, the way that they've described Lammens and how he is in training and everything about him. I think it's really, really interesting. Luke Shaw said on Lammens trained with us for a few days. He impressed me. It's always good to have reinforcements, and I'm looking forward to playing with him. Lammens, Luke Shaw very much praising how good he was in training. You had Maguire saying he really impressed me in training. He has all the qualities to be a top-level keeper. He's excellent with his feet and has a great presence. He's very good at shot stopping. So look, obviously Luke Shaw and Maguire aren't going to come out and go, yeah, I saw him in training, he's shit. Obviously, they're not going to say that about their teammate. Obviously, they're going to say nice things about their teammate. But I think the choice of words by Maguire wasn't just, oh, yeah, no, he's been good in training. It's, no, he's really impressed me, top keeper, like really good with his feet, really good at shot stopping. It's a bit more to it. It's not, obviously, they're not going to come out and be like, Lammens for his average. Lammens, don't know why the club spent that much money on him. Lammens who's shit. Obviously, the players aren't going to say that about Lammens, and they're going to say nice things. But I think it was very encouraging what the players had to say on the goalkeeper. And there's been a lot of good things said about him. He's really impressed Amorim. He's really impressed the coaches. So there's been a lot of good positive things said. Even Tom Heaton, who's a goalkeeper, actually said it's only been a few days training, but he seems like a really good lad. He's calm, but a strong personality. His goalkeeping fundamentals are very impressive. And I think I said that to him after a couple of days. 23 years old, coming to Manchester United, first few days training, and he's been very impressive so far. I really like his goalkeeping fundamentals. You've got a goalkeeper in Tom Heaton that was just, from the minute he came into training as this new sort of unknown young lad, Tom Heaton's been like, well, this guy's been good. He's got a good personality. He's got a good this. He's got a good that. He's got good fundamentals. Lots of positive things being said about Lammens from the minute he's come in the training door. And, he's obviously only 2 games have been played since Lammens has come in the door, and that has been Chelsea and that has been Manchester City. But it's now an opportunity against Brentford for Lammens to get his debut in what would be a lower risk game. And as I said, Baindir isn't exactly prime Alisson. Baindir isn't exactly prime Buffon. Baindir is not a great keeper. So I don't think there's really much risk in playing Lammens versus Brentford. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'd be very disappointed if Ruben Amorim persists with Baindir. Not that Baindir did anything wrong last game, but Baindir, every time I have a corner, I have to cover my eyes because Baindir scares me. I don't think Baindir fuels the players with confidence from set pieces. So I think it's a case of Ruben Amorim. I think I'd be very disappointed if we didn't see Lammens start this game and the game against Sunderland. If we don't see him start the next 2 games, it'd be disappointing. Brentford and Sunderland are the easier teams we're going to play. It's Liverpool, Brighton, Palace and Spurs after that. He cannot debut in those games. It's too much pressure. And I somewhat agree. I think he can debut in any game, but I think if you're going to throw him in for a debut, Brentford and Sunderland, for me, is two must-wins. I want 6 out of 6 points versus Brentford and Sunderland. I think getting 4 points isn't enough. I think 6 out of 6. This is an opportunity to win 3 games in a row. We've not won 2 games in a row under Amron. This is an opportunity to win 3 games in a row. I think these are games that we must win. Brentford away, I know, is a bit of a bogey team. Sunderland, I know, have come up and they'll be really up for it at Old Trafford, but they're 2 teams we should beat. They're 2 teams we have the squad to beat. And look, after that, we've got Liverpool. We don't expect to beat Liverpool. Brighton, we never beat Brighton. Palace at 18 games unbeaten. And Spurs, when was the last time we beat Spurs? So after Brentford and Sunderland, we've got Liverpool, Brighton, Palace and Spurs, which are teams that we've not beaten in a while. Like, if we're going to be completely honest, we've not beaten any of those teams in a while. So it is a situation of, for me, get these 6 points, play Le Mans, got nothing to lose. It is the ideal game for him to start, and I would be very disappointed. Sunderland will beat us, our midfield isn't stable. I mean, if I was Ruben Amorim, I'd adapt the way he uses our midfield, because I think it's quite easy to overload. Because we've got 2, they can overload with 3 and run through us. But Amorim doesn't seem interested in wanting to change that. Le Mans needs to start to get a feel of this league, and yeah, 100%. And I think Sunderland and Brentford are 2 good games for him to start to get a feel of the league. I think it's 2 very good games for him to start to get a feel of the league. And then when we have tougher games like Liverpool, Brighton, Palace, he's got a feel of the league and understanding of the league. You know, he's a goalkeeper. He will make mistakes. Joan Garcia has been phenomenal for Barcelona. Absolutely phenomenal. Joan Garcia has been for Barcelona since he's gone in. But Joan Garcia made an awful mistake yesterday for Barcelona, which put them 1-0 down. Le Mans will make mistakes. And when he makes a mistake, do not write him off. Keepers will make mistakes, and then there's the confidence. And I think there's a thing, if you're a Man United keeper and you make a mistake, the whole media, the whole world's on you, your confidence goes, your mentality goes, you can make more mistakes. There will be times where Lammens will make mistakes, because no keeper doesn't make mistakes. But we just got to hope that he's less mistake prone than Onana and less mistake prone than Baindir, which, to be honest, doesn't seem like a difficult thing to do with the amount of mistakes that those keepers made. He will naturally make mistakes, and it's also trying to, you know, make sure as a fan base we don't get on him if he makes a mistake in his first or second game, or write him off or give him stick, because that will be key for confidence. Because you can be a really good goalkeeper, you can come to Manchester United, you're on a different lens, and your confidence and everything could go. Because I still think you need a mentality to play for United. Now, obviously, good things have been said about Lammens' mentality, but that's another thing. Like, he probably will make a mistake here and there, but he has to start. For me, I'd be disappointed if Amorim didn't start him tomorrow. And I think he will start, because this is what the media has said on him in the past. Ben Jacobs did say that Senne Lammens is expected to become Manchester United's #1 sooner rather than later. There's a feeling internally that he was never going to start versus City and Chelsea, because that was his first couple of weeks inside the club. They were big games, they were high-pressure games with a lot of people watching. Let's give him a bit of time in training, let's give him a bit of time to settle into the club, get to know the players. Obviously, those inside Manchester United, Ineos, Amorim coaches will know how important it is as a goalkeeper to have a first good game. You know, if you make a mistake in your first game, it knocks confidence. They know how important it is to hit the ground running as a goalkeeper, because I think goalkeeper and striker is the 2 positions where confidence is so key, particularly goalkeeper, because striker, you're not scoring goals, you're low and confident, but then you can score goals and be the saviour. Goalkeeper, you can cost your team. So I think they know the importance of confidence and what that will be for Lammens. So I get why they don't want to rush him in the first 2 games, but this is obviously the opportunity now. He's expected to become #1. You know, there is rumours of us looking at Magnan and a lot of other goalkeepers in the market, but there's no point going and looking to bring in a goalkeeper until you've seen Lammens. Like, Lammens could be #1 tomorrow, have a really good game, and then end up having a really good season for us, and we don't need to go and sign a new #1. So I don't get the links to a new #1 goalkeeper until we've seen Lammens and given him a big enough sample size of 3 months as a starter. We will then know, is this a #2 or is this a #1? You know, Buffon made mistakes, Alisson makes mistakes, the best goalkeepers make mistakes, and we've got to be patient with him, of course. But look, 6 points. 6 points is needed. Romano also said the first choice goalkeeper is not 100% guaranteed for anyone, but I'm sure Senne Lammens is clear favourite. United trust him for the present and the future. They believe he's one of the best young goalkeepers in the world. So, you know, the first choice goalkeeper isn't 100% guaranteed. It's not 100% guaranteed to Baindir. It's not 100% guaranteed to Lammens. But he said Senne Lammens is the clear favourite to be the first choice this season. We're now 3 games in since Lammens has joined. Perfect opportunity to start him. And United do trust him. They think he's a goalkeeper for the future, but he's also the favourite to be number 1 this season. He's the favourite to become number 1. And I do think that he could get his first start tomorrow versus Brentford. It's the perfect game. Brentford will be dropping those big long throws right under the goalkeeper as well. I mean, look, Baindia's worst asset is set pieces and claiming. I don't think Lammens is a good shot stopper. I don't think he's the strongest claimer. It's not like a Donnarumma when it comes to claiming, but he's a lot better than Baindia at that. So I do agree with that as well. I said that as well. He's got to have time to settle and get to know the squad as well. And I understand United being careful without rushing him in, but it's Baindia. It's not Prime Alisson. It's Baindia. We gave Sesko a couple games to settle. But I think, we had good options at striker. We could play Cunha at striker. Like, I understood taking Sesko 4 or 5 games to get a start because Cunha was playing well and Mount was playing well. So, you know what I mean? Whereas Baindia isn't playing well. Like, let's be honest. He's not been good this season. And I don't want to be mean. I don't like to be negative, but he hasn't. So, yeah. That has been what was said on Lammens, but I do want to talk about a few other Manchester United stories, midfield, other plans, and then I will dive into the live chat and we'll do a preview ahead of the game. But it was said that documentation has been signed for Christian Orozco to become a Manchester United player. The midfielder will travel to England in July and 2026, so big positives there. Ruben Amorim has confirmed ahead of tomorrow's game that Ahmad is not here. Someone in his family passed away. He returned home and we're giving him all the support. So my thoughts are with Ahmad. Really hope that he's okay. Go send him some love, guys, and some support. Not been an easy few weeks for Ahmad. The travelling squad is actually out for the Manchester United game, and Diego Leon is in the travelling squad ahead of the Manchester United game. Mazraoui is out injured. There's no Mazraoui, there's no Ahmad, there's no Casemiro, there's no Licha. But the travelling squad is out. Fredriksson's in the squad, but I think Fredriksson would benefit more from being with the under-21s because he's not getting any minutes. Like, Aiden Heaven's going to come on way before him. But this is obviously the squad ahead of the game. Baindia, Lammens, Heaton in goal. So hopefully it's Lammens in goal. Heaven, I mean, it'd be interesting to see him get a game. I think Euro and Delict. I think Euro, Delict, and Maguire will be the back 3. I think Dor or Shaw. I think Euro, Delict. I mean, Euro, Delict, Shaw is the back 3, or Euro, Delict, Maguire is the back 3. I think we're going to see Delo and Dorgo at wing back because there's no Ahmad. I just don't see the other set. I think it is Delo and Dorgo playing, which I don't really like, particularly versus Brentford. It's defensive, which means for me it has to be Fernandes and Maino in the pivot, and then you've got Cunha, Xerxes, Sesko, and Bumo. Like, it's not. We don't have that big of a squad. Not that we need it. But there's, we've got Mount that can obviously play there. So that is obviously the squad ahead of the game. So I want to talk about my lineups and all of that as well, and who I would line up. I'm going to do my Ruben Amorim lineup, which is the lineup I think that Ruben Amorim will go with. And then I'm going to go with the lineup I will go with. But I'm going to tell you what I think Ruben Amorim is going to do. And then I'm going to go with my lineup. So I've gone over to Chosen 11 here. So my favourite website for doing lineups because you can just be quite flexible and move it about. Now, I have a feeling Ruben Amorim is going to play Lammens. I have a feeling there's a few rumours he's going to play Lammens. I think it will be Euro. I think it will be Delict. And I think it will be Shaw. But he could go with Maguire to deal with the long throw-ons. So, he could give Luke Shaw a rest. I mean, especially considering the lack of options. You could see Delict go here. And Maguire go here, which I'm not totally against. I don't think he's going to play Aiden Heaven, if I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to go with Agate or the Maino, which I don't like, because if you're fullbacks, because he kind of has to go with Delo and Dorgu, because there's no other options really for fullback, and we can't give him stick for that. But if your fullbacks are Delo and Dorgu, you probably want Maino in here to just be a little bit more aggressive or attacking in the approach. I think he will go with, I don't know if Mount is ready to start. So I think it will be Cunha, Sesko, and Mbumo. I think this is what he will do. I think Mount isn't ready to start. I think he will mould Mount in. This is what I think Ruben Amorim will do. Now, there's 2 things I'd like to see. Number 1 is actually, if Cunha isn't fully fit, then Bruno, play him higher up. I mean, we could do that. but I'm more of a, I would rather see Maino over Agate, Bruno deeper, and if Cunha's fit, I want to see Cunha. I want to see Cunha if Cunha's fit. I don't like the wing backs. I'm not going to lie, but you can't play Mount at wing back. You can't play Xerxes at wing back. I mean, Cunha's not going to want to play wing back. I mean, you could, technically, if we wanted to be really attacking, we could drop Dalot and go and Mbumo right wing back and go with, I mean, I think the most attacking approach we could do is have an Agate Maino pivot, Dorgu left wing back, and Mbumo right wing back, Sesko, Cunha, Bruno. You've got Mount and Xerxes on the bench. It's probably the best approach. There's a bit of lack of pace. I mean, I'm not against that. Like, I'm not against Agate playing, by the way. It's just that I would rather Maino play than Agate. I'm not totally against playing Mbumo at wing back for one game because Ahmad's out, Mazraoui's out, and Dalot, we don't even know how fit Dalot is. Dalot's only just coming back from injury. So, to be honest, with Bruno being so good higher up, this is probably the lineup I'd want to see, actually. Maino isn't an 8. He is an 8. Cunha is so good, I can't believe we have him. Cunha is mint. He's absolutely mint. And we were really good until he came off versus, was it Burnley? Amarin is too pragmatic. He makes his wing backs look like holding fullbacks. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help, to be fair to Amarin, that Dorgu can't cross. We've got big Sesko in the box, and we can't even deliver him a good cross. I mean, you can't, I think, the way Amarin sets up is a little bit pragmatic, and I don't like it, and I have been very critical of Amarin. But at the same time, as much as I like Dorgu in terms of, I think, as an athlete and as a defender, I think he's a good player. I think he's really good in ball progression. He can't cross. If you could give Dorgu Trent's crossing, I think we have an unbelievable player, but it is the crossing he lacks. But I think that's the lineup that I would go with. But yeah, Cunha and Mbumo, like we've watched Cunha and Mbumo, it's only been a small sample size, but I can watch them and comfortably say, look, these are good players. These are ballers. And I think we're blessed to have them. Anyway, I want to continue on into more Manchester United news and stories. But yeah, Sesko and Cunha goals would be great. And Mbumo's already had his goal. Do you know what? There's nothing more I want than a Sesko goal. And one thing I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this versus Chelsea, was Bruno in the first half when we were 2-0 up. Instead of playing the easy pass, he played the difficult pass to try and play Sesko in. And I love Bruno for that, but we could have probably gone 3-0 up versus Chelsea had Bruno played the easier pass. And he was doing the difficult pass because he knows how much Sesko needs that goal for confidence. And Bruno was trying everything to give Sesko that goal. And I like that, but also it's got to be natural. We can't be doing everything we can to try and get Sesko a goal. But we need him to get that goal naturally because I think the importance of Sesko's goal could be underrated. I think it could do a lot for him in terms of confidence and things. Guys, can you let me know your score predictions down below? Let me know how you're feeling ahead of the game, what your score predictions are, how you feel that Manchester United are going to do. I think we're going to win. I don't think we're going to make it easy, but I think we're going to win 2-1. I think we're going to go 2-0 up. And I think we're going to concede late. But there is a small part of me that thinks it could be 1-1. Like, that tiny part. Because we are just really bad at, like, scoring. So there is that small part that thinks maybe it could be 1-1. But I think we'll win 2-1. I think we'll win 2-1. Some people say 2-0 Brentford. Some people say 3-1 United. I hope so. I'm going 2-1, but there's a... My heart says 2-1 because I want us to win. My head is saying, was I totally convinced by the Chelsea game? I've watched us play all season. I feel like we dominate. My head is saying, to be honest, guys, we dominate the first half. We put in an unbelievable performance in the first half, and we should be 3-0 up at half time. My head is saying with the performance we're going to put in the first half means we should be 3-0 up at half time. We're only 1-0 up at half time. The second half, Brentford come out. They press us, they go high press, we struggle to play out, they force us into mistakes, long throw-in or set piece, and Brentford make it 1-1 and it ends 1-1 because they park the bus after. My head is saying fantastic first half, should be 3-0 up, we miss chances, we only go 1-0 up at half time, and then second half, Brentford, set piece, long throw-on, do something and make it 1-1. That is my fear, but I'm going to say 2-1 United. A couple of people think Brentford will win. Sharda scores a header off a throw. A lot of people aren't confident. If Baindy is in goal, I'm not going to be confident for those throw-ons. Thoughts on Shaw left wing back potentially. Do you know what? I'm open to see it. I think the reason we haven't seen Shaw at left wing back yet is because he's had so many injuries, and when you're wing back, you're doing a lot more sprints and a lot more intense. A lot easier to get injured, particularly with Shaw and his hamstrings and the issues he's had with his leg, doing sprints up and down. Like, centre back's difficult, but there's a little bit of a different intensity in Dorgu's role. And I think the reason we've not seen Shaw left wing back is purely because of the intensity of it, and I think him coming back from injury. But because he's had quite a good amount of time without picking up an injury, I'm open to trying Shaw left wing back. I'm even open to chucking Diego Leon for the last 20 minutes. You know, if Dorgu's having a stinker, I'm open to giving Diego Leon 20 minutes. It's a risk, and I don't think Diego Leon is ready yet, to be totally honest with you. But I'm open to it. I'm open to giving him a chance, open to giving him some minutes. Half-time 3-0 United, full-time 4-1. You know what, Dwight? I hope you're right. I'll be happy with that. Now we want Shaw, Maguire, De Ligt, please. Shaw, Maguire, De Ligt, that three. It's just lack of pace. You need Euro for that pace. I think Euro didn't have a great game versus City, but I think he's our best centre-back. Shaw's probably not got the legs. That's the worry. One thing that Amorim did really well last season, actually, was Casemiro's first 6-7 games under Amorim were atrocious, because Amorim wants his midfielders to do this crazy Declan Rice level running. And I actually felt that Amorim slightly adapted Casemiro's role the back end of last season, so he didn't have to do as much crazy amount of running, which is improved Casemiro. Maybe he could do that with Shaw, but I think wing-backs are so crucial to Amorim ball. But the problem is Amorim isn't adapting his midfield in general. He did that little adaptation to Casemiro, but I think he needs to adapt his midfield in general, because Glasner uses the exact same formation as Amorim, but the way Glasner uses his midfield is so much better and so different. But I sometimes look at it and I think, could Amorim use his midfield more, give them less running, a bit like Glasner does? Yeah, I mean, there's always questions around that. No more kids playing in defence. I mean, I think I'm all for the kids. We never gave Alvaro the chance. Look how good he is at Madrid. I think Euro is probably, in terms of the profile, our best centre-back. Aiden Heavens looked mint when he's played. But I think you'd want De Ligt and Maguire in there for headers and set pieces. But I think De Ligt, Maguire and Euro would be my ideal back three. The way you pronounce Lammens is Lammens. Because half the people are saying Lammens. Some people are saying Lammens. Some people are saying Le Mans. And Le Mans just kind of sounds Belgian. Le Mans, I don't know what it is. And now, Lammens. You know what? I feel like it is Lammens. I feel like you're right. I mean, there's always 100 ways to pronounce a name, I feel like, on the internet. And then finally everyone gets it right. I mean, I did actually hear someone call him Le Mans. There's a lot of names, but I feel like it could be Lammens. I think United actually uploaded a video of him saying his name, which I should probably find. Heaven looked outstanding, plus we have a 16-year-old from Southampton. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to throw a 16-year-old in from Southampton, but Aiden Heaven is an 18-year-old. I think he's 19 now, Aiden Heaven, but I don't think people realise how good Heaven was for his age in the little cameos he had. He literally turned 19 4 days ago, Heaven. There's a top player in Aiden Heaven, and look, we're not going to expecting him to play loads, but he showed a lot of promise in his move, Aiden Heaven. I think there's a genuinely really good player there. In Aiden Heaven, I don't think Leon will play. I don't think Diego Leon will feature, but it would be nice to see if Diego Leon could get some opportunities. Diego Leon could get some minutes, potentially the last 20 minutes if needed, but only if we feel that he's ready and it's a game that he could do well in. If Dorgu's doing really well, don't take Dorgu off. But I am open to Aiden Heaven and Leon getting minutes. But let's say, it won't happen because Man United never make games this easy. This just won't happen. But in an ideal world, we could be 4-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and you think, okay, Aiden Heaven. Oh, okay, Dorgu. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's Aiden Heaven, sorry, not Dorgu, Leon. I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't think we're going to be 4-0 up with 20 minutes to go, because Man United, even if we're 4-0 up with 20 minutes to go, Man United will find a way to make it 4-4. It feels like that's supporting us. But listen, people, I'd like to see Xerxes. I like Xerxes. We have him. He can play as a 9, he can play as a 10. He's had a few injury issues, but I think he's got a lot to bring this season. I agree, but I'm going to wrap up today's show. Please do hit the like button on the way out. You're welcome to subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.